Hey everybody, it's your boy Big James, and welcome back to another review of Married at First Sight. This is going to be season 12, episode 14. I expected a little better. I took a few notes, not a lot. It's just getting to the point in the show where more than ever, it's like, why is this 2 hours? Why am I still watching this? Because there's really nothing happening. It's just them going about their lives, doing stuff that's inconsequential. Every now and then you will hear something that's worthwhile, but for the most point, it's not really nothing. They could have just showed the part of them saying something that mattered, but it's now you can tell it's getting to the end because it's getting a struggle to watch. Because stuff that was apparent around episode 3 is just more apparent now. But hey, I'm in it for the long haul. I hope you is too. Let's get started with our first couple, Eric and Virginia. It starts out with Eric taking her to the house he grew up in, and his parents still live in, but they're not home right now. And he's showing it was this episode was about getting to know the other person, like their past, their experience, what they've been through. And so this was his him trying to show her what he had done. You know, he showed her his high school yearbook. He showed her all this stuff from the military, his medals, like his the stuff he got for his combat missions and Afghanistan stuff. And then Virginia just like was like just yeah. She just completely dismissed all the stuff he was saying, and she said, "Was your medals kind of like in the Boy Scouts where you get?" And it was Eric was like, "It's a little bit more important. I got a combat service. I got awards for flying missions in war zones. He's like, it's a little bit more important than getting a Boy Scout medal, Boy Scout ribbon." So, and she was like, "Well, it's a little bit. Like, it's not a little bit at all. It's a fucking lot bit. It's a lot bit different. Than helping an old lady across the street, you get a goddamn ribbon. No, this is fucking. I was rescuing hostages and shit. It's a little bit different." So I don't know what the hell. It's like she was trying to downplay his accomplishment. I don't know why. He should be proud of stuff he's done, and she should be proud of him and the things he's done. But she's really trying to downplay his stuff he's done. Like everything he showed her, she kind of like picked at and needled, and she was like, it really doesn't fucking matter. They talked about their families, and she was upset because she's talked to his sister, his mother. She's like, I called him like pretty much every day. I want to get to know his family, but he's never reached out to her family. He's never talked to anybody in her family except for the wedding day. But she talks to his family pretty much every day. Not because he's telling her to, but because she wants to talk to them. She wants to get to know him better. And she said, well, I can get to know them better. I get to know you better. And she said, well, you're saying you want to know me better, but you're not reaching out to people who do know me so that you could know me better. And he was like, well, I just want to know you. And so I kind of get what she's saying, but I really get what he's saying. He was like, I'm not asking you to do that. You're doing it on your own because that's your personality. That's how you are. That's not how I am. Like, I don't have a problem with your family, with your dad, your brother and stuff, but your sister. But I don't really want to talk to them to learn about you. I could just talk to you to learn about you. But she's right. You should get to know my family too. And then, in order to make her happy later on, he talks to her dad. He FaceTimes her dad. And her dad is like, yeah, Virginia's like that. And her dad was like, he regrets the way Virginia grew up around so much turmoil and so much drama and like things going on. He says one of the things in life that he really regrets, and that's why she is the way she is when it comes to family and how she does things. But he told Eric that, you're right. You don't need to get to know us. You need to get to know her. For these 8 weeks, you got all the time in the world to learn us later. Right now, you should focus on her. And Eric said, that's what I'm trying to do, but she wants me to learn more about you. And like, I kind of agree with her dad. Like, come on, you should really learn more about her. You should talk to her. Yeah, talking to me is fine, but that's not crucial right now. Right now, you should get to know her. You should talk to her. Virginia disagrees. They go to play basketball, And Virginia's like, yeah, she played basketball. I didn't know she played basketball. She played basketball in middle school and in high school. And I think she said she played some in college. But she was really good. You could tell she played basketball by the way she handled the ball. She could dribble real well. She played better than Eric. And she was showing him like photos of her growing up. You know how her parents did come to games, so she would get like her friends and her cousins, stuff like that. And that's the one thing about it that I don't know if Eric picked up on. Her parents were never really there for her, but her friends would like always come through. Like her extended family, like the aunts, the cousins, they would always really come through for her. But like her like immediate family, like her cousins stuff, they weren't really, like her parents weren't really there. Because like her mom was angry about something, her dad was gone. So whenever she was doing this stuff that was important in sports, that really meant a lot to her, she didn't get support from them. She got support from like other people. And even now with her being an adult, she really reaches out more to her friends than she does to her husband. Because she even says in this episode, like, I put my friends before you. And maybe one day you come before them, but not anytime soon. Which is bullshit. Honestly, if you feel that way, you're not ready to be married at all. If you feel like your husband is secondary, he's a secondary character in your life, you shouldn't be married to him. She talks to Eric's sister-in-law, which, you know, she's been around Eric pretty much a lot of his life, so she knows him pretty close, and Eric considers her like his sister because of how long she's been around. And she's talking to Virginia, and Virginia is just making no sense. She's trying to explain to Eric's sister like how, you know, it should be okay for her to spend the night over a friend's house whether Eric's around or not. And her sister is like, there's no way that's okay. To even think that it's okay is fucking nuts. But she thinks it should be okay for her to go do stuff with her friends and to put her husband second. And Eric's sister went from, oh, this is gonna be a great conversation, to this bitch fucking crazy, like in an instant. Virginia's whole viewpoint on marriage is kind of like a roommate, or like just some guy she knows. She like, pretty much, I should be able to do whatever I want, and that's it. And he should just trust me that I'm doing the right thing. No, it's like he should trust you're doing the right thing, and you're actually doing the right thing. Staying over your friend, that's not the right thing. That's the thing that's tripping her out. She's thinking, well, he should just trust doing the right thing. The thing you're saying you're going to do isn't the right thing in the first fucking place. So what do you mean he should just trust you to do the right? That's not the right thing at all. You're telling me you're going to do the wrong thing. So why should I trust you to do the right thing if your goal is to do the wrong thing? She was confusing, and she made no sense, and just solidified that she isn't ready for this. She doesn't want to be married. And when Dr. Pepper came along, it put more emphasis. Dr. Pepper came later for like the unanswered question from the last episode, where they talked about expectations in the marriage. And I think, you know, Eric was like, you know, he had expectations like, don't cheat, which is obvious, don't cheat on me. And Virginia agreed, like, that's obvious. But then he was like, you know, answer the phone when I call. Make me a priority. Talk to me. Spend time with me. And she was like, well, my friends are more important. I don't want to do that stuff. You know, you don't come before them. They come before you. Everything comes before Eric, according to her. You know, she doesn't want to stop doing what she's been doing. She wants to keep living the life she's been living. She's making small sacrifices where she's not seeing them as much for his sake because she knows that it bothers him. She doesn't understand why it bothers him, but she knows it and she's trying to cut back on it. But she is genuinely confused about why he has a problem with her going out drinking with her friends every night and not answering his phone calls and not talking to him and not spending time with him. She doesn't understand why that's a big deal. And he's a pilot, so he's gone for several days out of the week. So when he's in town, he probably wants to spend time with his wife. So, but she feels like when he's gone, shit, I'm gone too. And when he's here, I stop by every now and then and say, hey. So it was just crazy to me. I just didn't get her. I didn't understand her at all. And I understand that, you know, the way she grew up and like that, she just, her friends are her everything. They're her whole world. But you're married now. You need to adjust your world, son. And Eric is very controlling. Like, he really wants, and that's the thing that she's not wrong about. Some of the stuff Eric wants is kind of crazy. It is very controlling. You know, he wants her to like check in with him all the time. He wants her to like spend he said he wanted her to spend every hour of the day with him. Like, whenever something was going on, he was there and she was there, they were together. Like, no, she needs some me time. Even if you're here, she still might need some time to herself. She still might want to go do something by herself. She doesn't need to spend all her time with you. Like, that's nuts. And Virginia is questioning, like, I don't know what your expectations are because she doesn't like him. And I don't know what your goals are. Like, I don't know what you're trying to get to or how you want it to be. Because however you want it to be, she is not going to be that. And she told him flat out, like, I know you're looking for this storybook or this kind of, like, you have this image of what your marriage is going to be in your head. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to be that. She told him flat out. And he was just like, kind of watery on it. But, yeah, you know, they both, I think Dr. Pepper told him, like, they both agree. They both have to give something. They got to be willing to give up something. He has to give up some control, and she has to give up some of her friends. Like, she has to give up, like, just time. She's going to have to give time to him, and he's going to have to give up some of that control. Or there's no way this is going to work. There's no way. And they just have different, there's no way it's going to work anyway. They both have different things they're looking for in life, and it will never work. That's my thoughts on that shit. It'll never work. Moving on. Brianna and Vincent. They were in it for a little while, and it was cute. Brianna, she was at a dance studio. She was tap dancing, and Vincent came because she said dancing is what she did before she became an engineer. She gave it up, and she wanted to show that side of her to Vincent. You know, this is my past. I was a dancer, and he said something to her like, for $100,000, for $100K, do your best dance. And she did like some little tap, and she was like, that's it. He was like, you out of here. He's like, you don't win. She was like, I don't win. She's like, that's not good enough for $100,000. She didn't even do shit. She did like a little tap twirl, and it was like, for $100,000, that's enough. That's all I can give you. And she was like, I should have won the $100K for that one. I'm like, She was talking like $100K ain't shit. I was like, $100K is a lot of fucking money. But she was like, nah, that ain't nothing. But anyway, she was telling him about, you know, dancing is what she did because it was her passion, it's what she loved. But she gave it up because she was like, there's no money in it. She was like, I wanted to be a dancer, but I felt I had to do something that was that paid better. Because she didn't see a financial future in dancing. And she said, well, I was good at math anyway, so I became an engineer. And that supported me with the money I wanted and needed. But, you know, dancing is a thing she did to make herself feel better, and she would like to do it again sometime. And she told him, like, you know, she got into it because when she was growing up, because she's dark-skinned, she always felt ugly because, you know, light-skinned people would say she was ugly and all that. So she just grew up feeling because she's darker-skinned that she was ugly because it was a whole dark-skinned, light-skinned thing. Which is a thing that still goes on and is still very prevalent, colorism in the African-American community. And she didn't realize, so she started dancing, and while she was dancing, she started to feel better about herself. And when she got older, I think into high school or whatever, she was like, that's when she first started to feel pretty. You know, because through dancing, that's when she felt like she was beautiful and that she was sexy and attractive through dance. And but she had to give it up for, you know, she wanted to make money, and she said, I can't make money dancing. I'm pretty sure you can make money dancing, but I guess she just didn't see it because she is a numbers girl. She said she was good at math. She was good at numbers, and on the numbers, it might not look that good being a dancer compared to being an engineer. You're an engineer, you're gonna make money. And Dr. Pepper came back with the unanswered questions. And one of the unanswered questions was about him sleeping. He's like, I want to know why I can't sleep. And he brought up like, he feels like she thinks he's lazy. She was like, I don't think you're lazy. Essentially boiled down to she doesn't like being up without him, and she's like, well, he's staying up on his phone. He can just get off his phone and go to sleep, and we can get up together. And then she says, oh, he'll be like, oh, just give me another 30 minutes. So she'll be like, okay, that 30 minutes turns another 3 hours. So it's just like, and she is not compromising on that. She like, I want him to get up in the morning with me. She said, she doesn't like getting up, having breakfast, drinking her coffee, and doing all these things, and her husband is in the bed asleep. She's like, I want us to be together. Those are hours that he's sleeping in the morning that we could spend together. And Vincent is like, I'm fucking tired. Leave me alone. I want to go to sleep. He's like, I want to be asleep. And it just, I can understand her, but I can also understand him. He's like, I'm tired. I want to sleep. Don't wake me up just to be up with you. But she is like, we went to bed at the same time. How I'm getting a full night's rest, and you're like, I need 3 or 4 more hours. He was like, what the fuck? Because, and I guess, I don't know how much sleep he needs, but he's like, I need more. Because she's like, well, we went to bed together. Did you stay up doing some other shit? Do you like? So she's taking the kind of person like he just doesn't want to be around her in the morning. I don't know how she's taking it, but she's taking it very personal. She's not budging an inch on this. And Dr. Pepper was like, well, maybe y'all can have off days, sleep in this day, get up this day, sleep in this day. Because she was like, I want him up with me. He goes to bed with me, get up with me. And it's not like she's like, I'm not getting up early. I'm getting up. Shit, I gotta go to work too. So I don't know. I don't understand that. There's not enough information to figure out who's right or wrong in there. Because maybe he is just fucking off. I don't know what the fuck. Or maybe she's tripping and he let that man sleep. If she's getting up at like 5 or 4, then yeah. But if she's getting up at like 9, 10 o'clock, and he's like, I need 4 more hours of sleep. Like, what the fuck? Are you dying? So I don't know. Well, I know in the one episode, I think the last one, she was asking him to get up. He was like, well, I need a few more hours. And I think the clock behind him said 10:30. So it's 10:30 in the morning, and she's like, you gonna get up anytime soon? And he was like, I need 3 more hours. Like, what the fuck? And then they're going to bed at the same time. According to what she said, she's going to bed with him, and he'll be up maybe 30 minutes later than her. Which she's up to notice, he's still up 30 minutes later than her. So they're going to bed at the same time, but I don't understand it. Whatever. They're talking about kids, and she is just scared. And she said, I want to make him understand that I want to have kids. Excuse me. She wants to have kids. She wants to have biological children of her own, but she's scared that if she can't, how is that going to bother him? Because it is frightening to her, and she's like, I'm not going to lose my life or jeopardize my life trying to give you a bunch of goddamn babies. Because he wants a bunch of them. I think he said he wanted at least 3. I think that's what he said. But he wants a lot of kids. But her health means a lot to her, and her body, like, she likes her body the way it is. She likes her shape, she likes how she looks, and she knows having kids could change all of that. So she's paranoid about that. She's paranoid about having kids and being healthy and being safe. And Dr. Pepper brings up adoption, and Vincent, you can tell he's not feeling it. He wants biologically his own kids, and even Brianna said she understands he biologically wants his own kids, because he said, that's his dream. That's how he envisions his marriage. That's how he envisions his life. That's what he's building all of this for. He's building a future for his kids. He wants to have his own kids, or he's doing all this for nothing. But hey, I don't know. She has valid concerns. And I think she has a genuine fear. She is afraid. And I think they need to just talk about it and just see how it goes. I don't know. I'm not on either side with that. I'm like, that's marriage, really. That's just what it is. Vincent takes her to a bodega, a Dominican store, which is like a store, restaurant, everything all in one. And he's talking to her about his past, growing up. His dad was in jail, his mom wasn't around, she was working a lot, so he did a lot of stuff with his aunt. And he pretty much was raised pretty much by his aunt. And then he said in the Dominican Republic, in the Dominican, there is no middle class. You're either poor or you're not poor. But as far as like being middle class, that's not a thing. So everybody was just poor. And he doesn't want to be like that. They came to America to, try to make something of themselves, and they've just been working so hard. And he was like, he wants to build a legacy, like a generation. He wants to build his family from the ground up. He doesn't want his family to go through what he went through. He wants something brand new. He wants to start in the middle class and go up and go from there. So he's like, because of all stuff he went through growing up and being raised by his aunt, not by his parents, he doesn't want to do that to his kid. He doesn't want to do that at all. He wants to try and do right as a father, as a Dominican, and as a man, which is cool. She gets it. I think they both get. I like them together. They can really go far. But there are signs of trouble on the horizon, because you can see he gets very angry and frustrated, but he's like keeping it down. And you can see what and like sometimes like his family said, he has a temper, he has a side to him that's pretty dark. And her family said she has a side that's really bossy. She doesn't listen, she's gonna tell you what to do. And that's really starting to come out with both of them. He's starting to get kind of upset about some stuff. And he throws like little tantrums, but there's a big tantrum coming along. And she is really bossy. She is really kind of wants stuff done a certain way, and she wants her way. But she's been fighting that back, holding it back, and I don't know how much longer that's going to work, because that's going to explode. But I don't think it's going to explode to a point where there's no coming back from it. We're going to go to the next couple, Clara and Ryan. Ryan meets with Clara's mom, and he expresses to her how important church is to him. And when they have kids, he wants it to be important to his kids' life. He believes it's a good foundation for morals. Now, Clara's mom says that she wasn't going to church. She wasn't a church person until she had Clara. Because Clara said, her mom went to church, but her dad didn't. So she knows that can work. But her mom is sitting there saying, like, I didn't go to church until I had her. And she said about when Clara was about 5 months, they were doing some youth work thing with a church. And she was like, I want my daughter to be a part of this. I want her to have this for a foundation, just to put stuff inside of her. So that's when she started going. So neither one of Clara's parents were really in the church until she came along. So it's weird that I don't think Clara, if she does know that, she's not thinking about that, because she's saying, I don't want my kids to have anything to do with church if they don't want to. But once she has kids, she might feel different. But Ryan was like, it's very important to me. They had a dinner at Clara's parents' house. It was fun. Like, they're both lying to each other and lying to everybody else. But, you could tell her parents really like Ryan, because Ryan seems like a likable guy. And they're just telling stories about Clara. And he goes to Clara's old room, which they turn the bedroom into a gym. And they were just cool. It was neat. I can't think of anything that happened there that was significant. Just talk and joking and stuff like that. Dr. Pepper comes in. They talk about intimacy. And Ryan never saying, I love you, because... And this is what Clara said that threw me for a loop that I didn't know. She said that when she applied for Married at First Sight, she said she wanted a guy that didn't want to have sex right away. Because she said that every guy she had been with she immediately slept with. So she wanted somebody that would not immediately sleep with her. And now she's like, well, be careful what you wish for, because he don't want to sleep with me fucking all. Which I don't think. I think Ryan's just waiting. From what he says and how he acts. But she's told him that he knows that she said, I don't want somebody that's going to sleep with me right away. And he's pretty much acting on that because he doesn't really want to do it either. He wants to get to know her better. He wants to feel her out and see how. And I think the cameras are throwing him off. It seems like when the cameras aren't around, they're more open and more talkative. But when the cameras are around, he kind of shuts down and puts up this facade that he's a great guy. But he's probably a great guy anyway. So there's no reason for the facade at all. Because whatever he's doing, she's in love with him. She said the only thing that she won't put up with is him not saying I love you. That bothers her. That bothers her more than the sex. Because he's of a mindset of like, I'm not going to say it. He said, I don't want to say it. And then I say it all the time and it gets watered down. It doesn't mean anything. He wants it to mean something whenever it's said. But Dr. Pepper said something that made me agree with her and think that Ryan was tripping. Because she said, you know, when I talk to my husband, when I talk to my kids, we say I love you every time. But we do it because if anything happens, the last thing that I said to you was I love you. Because whenever I talk to my kids or anybody in my family, the last thing I say to them is I love you. And I do it because I think, because that's my reason. I think that if something happens to me or them, the last thing they heard from me was I love you. So that's why, so I'm with her because I do the same thing. He doesn't say it because he doesn't want to lose meaning. I'm thinking like I say it because you never know what tomorrow holds. He should look at it that way. And Claire should stop getting this dude off. Because it's not putting any pressure on him. If he's getting heels, what the fuck does he care? Oh, they did letters to themselves. And I hate this letter to yourself stuff because this season and last season, it was the same thing. It was, the women go very deep and personal and emotional, and the men just write whatever fucking bullshit they think of. It's like, it's not, it doesn't matter to the guys as much as it matters to the women. You know, she was talking about, you know, love hard, do this, do that, and she expected him to say, you know, you're gonna fall in love. He was talking about some whole other shit. He was talking about himself. You know, like, don't be afraid, stand up for yourself. I think Jacob did. He did the same thing. You know, like, don't be a bitch. Like, it's just, you know, you're strong, you're tough. It had nothing to do with her. It was a letter to himself. And that's what he wanted to tell himself. So I didn't even remember any of it. I just remember hers being super serious and his being super bullshit. The next couple is Jacob and Haley. Fuck this couple here. Jacob and Haley. It starts out with them at a batting cage, and I think she whooped his ass in batting. But he said, cause I think she got 8 out of 10 balls. She hit 8 out of 10. He hit 2 out of 20. He was not hitting them fucking baseballs. And he said, well, it was going too slow. But it was at 60 miles an hour, and he was like, I'm swinging faster than the ball is getting here. Cause he kept swinging before the ball got there every time. So she beat him with that, and she was kind of rubbing it in his face, but she like got there early and practiced or whatever. Then they had to do a putt. They were just playing games. They were just having fun. They're not gonna say yes, so they're just riding this shit out, just having fun, just having somebody to go do shit with. They go play putt golf. And he asked her, what's your, what name you want? She's like, well, just put my name. And he was like, well, I'm going to be Eagle. And I'm going to put you down as Dragon. So he put her down. So it was Eagle and Dragon. And I think he stomped the shit out of her in that. And she got mad. Like, did you come early in practice? He was like, no. Even she did come early. She came before he got there and started practicing. And played around to get so that she could beat him again. And he stomped the shit out of her. She didn't stand a chance. And he was just like, whatever. She was upset because, oh yeah, the batting cage input, but he didn't wear tennis shoes. He wore like dress shoes. They were like some kind of cowboy boots, dress shoes things. But he's like, yeah, I'm comfortable in. He just dressed comfortable. And he showed her like pictures of himself at like another outing company out. He had on like Daisy Dukes and cowboy boots and shit. And she was like, what the fuck? He was like, just a joke. She's like, you went to a company outing? And he was like, yeah, everybody just laughed. He said, we're all IT guys. We all just find like weird shit like that funny. But she was appalled. She was literally disgusted with everything this man wore to everything. Everywhere. She did not like anything. And some of the stuff he wore were just clothes. Like, it wasn't the Daisy Dukes, that was a bit much, but it was a joke. But she was mad at him wearing jeans with like cowboy boots and stuff like that. But he was like, yeah, I don't wear tennis shoes unless I'm going like running or exercise. He's like, these are comfortable to me, so I wear them. She had a significant problem with that. And they had to write a letter to themselves, and he wrote a letter to himself saying like, hey man, don't be a bitch, stick with football, don't give up on it. You can do anything you want, set your mind to, or you're stronger than you think, stuff like that. And she was like offended. And because she was like, oh, well, I didn't write that. She wrote something else deep, heartfelt, emotional, about life and journeys and the stars and places in the universe. Like, yeah, you gonna say all that to you? Like, I think on the last season, it was the same way. Like, the ladies went really deep, and the guys didn't. The guys were like, I'm writing a letter to me. I'm like, I know me. Me ain't serious. Me ain't deep. Me is shallow as fuck. And they started another argument. Another fucking argument about a bracelet. The bracelet he got her as a wedding gift that she's never worn. And the problem he had with it was that not that she's never worn it, he's never seen it. He's never seen it and her in the same location. And he was like, yo, I paid $800 for that. It would be nice if you had it around. She's like, well, I don't really wear them. Okay, you don't wear them, but you could at least have the stuff I bought for you around. Well, she says at my mom's house. And I understand her reason. She said, hey, the producers gave it to me. I looked at it and said, oh, this is beautiful. I had to go down to the wedding. So I gave it to my mom, and she took it home. Because after that, because that's what she saw it right before she had to go out. And she was like, so I didn't have anything to do with it. I couldn't even put it on because of the dress I had. But she thought it was a necklace. So she never took it out of the package because she thought it was a necklace. And he's like, no, it's a bracelet. So she was like, well, I thought it was a necklace because I knew it was a bracelet, she'd have put it on. But she thought it was a necklace. So she was like, I didn't put it on because of the dress I had on. So I understand that. And Jacob like, I understand that. But it's been over a month and a half. You could have gotten it from your mom's house. But you didn't. And she was like, well, and her basically, she was saying that I didn't think it was that important. But he keeps bringing it up. So it's important to him. And she didn't understand that because it's important to him, it mattered to her somehow. She was like, well, it's important to him. I don't give a fuck. She had no empathy. She didn't give a shit about this dude's feelings or thoughts or anything. She knew it was important to him. She knew it was a gift from him to her. She didn't care. And she couldn't figure out why he cared that she didn't care. Even if you don't like it, even if you don't want it, he bought it for you. He got it as a gift for you. The least you could do is have it somewhere in the house. Somewhere around. At least you could bring it up. Because he was like, I don't want you to even wear it. I don't want you to give it back. I just want it to be somewhere in your life. Because it was out of her life. It really was. And she was like, well, I got you an Alabama hat that you don't ever wear. He was like, but it's right there. It's right there on the shelf looking at it. Like, I'm not a college football guy. I don't even wear hats. But you bought it for me. So I took it and I put it somewhere important where we can see it. I have it. Because they gave me your hat right before we had to go get married. I gave it to my brother. I got it. Because you got it for me. That's what mattered. She didn't understand it. She didn't get any of it. She didn't give a fuck. And he was like, but it was a $20 hat and an $800 bracelet. But I treat that $20 hat like it's priceless because it came from you. Dr. Pepper comes along, and hey, what's going on? She says immediately, Jake, you look pissed the fuck off. What happened? And he was like, she always just shit by the bracelet, pissed. And she's like, well, I'm pissed because he dressed like a fucking bum. I don't like how he cheated. She's like, I don't like how he dresses. I don't like his clothes. And Jacob was like, what? What's wrong with my clothes? Shit. So that threw him by surprise. Or maybe not, maybe, I don't know. But Dr. Pepper was like, it's kind of shallow. His clothes, really? His shoes? What the fuck? What are we doing here? The bracelet? Do you have any empathy? Do you have any care, concern? And she didn't. She didn't give a fuck about this man, his ragged ass clothes, and his funky ass gifts. She didn't give a fuck. And she couldn't understand why her not giving a fuck was a big deal. But she would sit there and say, I'm trying. I'm trying so hard. You don't give a fuck. You are dumbfounded at the thought of giving a fuck. But you're trying so hard. And Dr. Pepper is like, you're not trying at all. And she's not. She's not trying at all. She's saying she's trying. She's not trying at all. She's not doing a fucking thing for Jacob. She doesn't really care. And Jacob, yeah, he's kind of geeky and goofy, but goddamn, he deserves better than that, man. Fuck. She is like, I don't give a fuck about this dude here at all. And then afterwards, she calls her mom and is like, oh, he's tripping about that bracelet. Can you go ahead and like mail it to me? God, he wants it back. He never said he wanted it back. He wanted it somewhere around, like in your life. But she's making it seem like he's tripping. He's making, no, nothing he said was crazy. Everything he said made sense. You're the one that's tripping because you don't understand why buying your wife gifts and her liking them is a big deal. Her appreciating that you thought of her means something. So she was just being a fucking asshole, and he gave her the hat back. She's like, well, I'll give him his bracelet back. I'm like, he doesn't even want. He told her over and over again, I don't even want the fucking bracelet. I just want to know that you have it. You know, he was like, I don't even know if you have it. I don't even know. He's like, shit. Whew. There's no way. They have fought every fucking day. This was a bad match. From stem to stern, it was just bad all around. The more they try to not argue and fight, the more intense the fights are when they happen. And the more childish and petty. They have not had a fight over a serious thing at all. Everything they argue about is some petty, childish bullshit that's easily resolved. That's it for them. And you know what the best thing about this whole episode? There is no Chris and Paige. They were not featured at all. No Chris and Paige. I am so happy and so thankful for that. That is the best. I guess they finally understood that there's no reason to keep having these people on here. Nobody wants to see them. Nobody gives a fuck about Chris and Paige. They're done. They were done. They were done before the honeymoon. God damn. They were done the day of the wedding. They were done. Oh, this shit's done. I'm getting sick of this goddamn show. I'm getting sick of these people. Because they're all lying, they're all full of shit, and they're all pretending. And it's just irritating and annoying. But I'm a fan too, so I'm hooked. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. And I'll see y'all on the next episode, man. Peace.